Dr. Ashish Jha standing by to answer your questions, but we're going to begin tonight with ABC's Trevor Ault leading us off right here in New York.
Tonight, millions of students starting the new year back in the classroom with COVID cases exploding. Today, the FDA authorizing Pfizer booster shots for 12 to 15-year-olds, and regulators now recommending everybody 12 and up originally vaccinated with Pfizer get their booster after 5 months instead of 6.
It's more important now than ever for all teens to go out there and get all 3 of their vaccinations.
America is now averaging 400,000 cases a day, up a staggering 200% in the past 2 weeks. School districts like Atlanta, Cleveland, and Milwaukee switching to remote learning for the time being, but the nation's biggest district, New York City, today welcoming back students in person, handing out upgraded masks and ramping up testing as New York City's new mayor vows to keep kids in the classroom.
We are going to keep our schools open.
But many parents don't agree, some refusing to send their kids to school, others anxious dropping them off this morning.
I'm just worried, really worried for my kid because he has asthma and I have cancer, so it's like a double whammy.
How do you feel coming back to school today?
Well, I don't think it's the right decision on the part of the administration.
In Chicago, FedEx drop boxes overflowing with return test kits that some parents say couldn't be processed in time for the start of school.
How can I allow my children to come back and they don't even have a negative or it's a positive result?
Testing giant Quest Diagnostics tells ABC recent demand has stretched their average processing time to 2 or 3 days, and the testing crunch may only be growing. This line today in Worcester, Massachusetts, crowds including parents and their children braving bitter cold. And tonight, after backlash over the new CDC recommendations cutting isolation time in half to 5 days with no negative test needed, Dr. Anthony Fauci now signaling the guidelines are under review yet again.
There has been some concern about why we don't ask people at that 5-day period to get tested. That is something that is now under consideration. The CDC is very well aware that there has been some pushback about that.
Once again, more than 100,000 Americans are now in the hospital with COVID, a number expected to climb. And while some are learning they're positive at the hospital, the vast majority are being treated for the virus. Nearly all in the ICU at New Orleans Children's Hospital are too young to be vaccinated.
Sadly, some of them are going to die. And the tragedy of this is that almost all of those cases that result in hospitalization and death are preventable with vaccination.
At Texas Children's, a third of patients are under 5, including several babies with COVID. In South Carolina, Tyler Jones and his wife are boosted, but their 3-month-old Addison, who's too young to get the vaccine, got sick with COVID New Year's Eve.
He woke up in the middle of the night crying and having trouble breathing, and he had a fever, and you feel helpless because your 3-month-old can't communicate what hurts. I mean, there's nothing scarier as a parent.
We're thinking about the families going through this, particularly with those very young children. Trevor Ault with us tonight. And Trevor, the FDA authorizing those booster shots now for 12 to 15-year-olds. We know the CDC meets next on this. So walk us through the timeline. How soon could we see these teens get the shots?
Well, David, the CDC panel is going to be meeting on Wednesday. They're going to make a recommendation then. And once the director, Dr. Walensky, signs off on it, then things are going to move very quickly. We could see these first boosters given out as early as Thursday. David?
All right, that as you can see there, Trevor Ault in front of one of those very long testing lines here in New York City tonight. Trevor, thank you.